Tickets for the in-person Sin Week events are available through the end of January. Don't miss out on your chance to join the Sin Crew and the Sin Club for delicious food, sinful movie watching, and more. The live event is in Nashville this March. Check the link in the video description for all the details.
Welcome to Sin Week! Woo!
What happened to me?
This isn't about you, Jen. This is about me. I'm having to watch the same previously ons that were previously on the previously on section of episode 2. And that was after watching the actual scene in episode 1.
Who the hell are you?
The more important question is, why aren't we seeing more of Titania yet? You've got Jamila fucking Jamil, and you're sticking her on the sidelines for the first few episodes? What is wrong with you, She-Hulk attorney at law? Wait, she's been to the super prison once as far as we know, and that's all it takes for her to enter? Just a simple flash of her driver's license? Shouldn't the guard at a super prison at least check the ID a little closer for, I don't know, security? Attempting to disguise your QR codes in fabric, but then not making the pattern stand out enough in the design that the QR code actually works. Surviving 9 years in retail. Who sits like this next to the window? It's a cool shot, but it kind of seems like it only exists because the director wanted it to.
I know you can't wait to see Wong. I get it.
Wonging the fourth wall. Also, eyes on the road, please. Time didn't appear to freeze when you broke the fourth wall.
Just remember whose show this actually is.
And you just remember to stop making sustained eye contact with me while I poop.
Attorney Jennifer Walters of law firm GLK&H.
Can we go one episode without relying on the crutch of news position? Please. Here's 10 cents for the inevitable news position we'll undoubtedly see going forward. Bragging about your doubloons.
I don't get it. Why are you turning everything more female super?
This outrage is realistic, but it really doesn't make sense in a world where superheroes exist. Internet fanboys like this exist in our world, where superheroes are fictional beings and creative direction changes every few years, like introducing more women or people of color or queer characters into legacy titles. So backlash is expected, but in a world where superheroes are real people, not fictional characters being made to appeal to widening audiences, that sort of backlash doesn't add up. She-Hulk wasn't a character introduced in a fictional story in this world. She's a real woman named Jennifer who became She-Hulk through a car crash. In the MCU, nobody manufactured her, so her sudden existence shouldn't be controversial for this particular reason.
Mr. Wong. Great entrance. Perfect timing.
It is perfect timing. It's almost as if the writers on this show knew they only had half an hour to work with and crammed as much plot as they could into the episode.
I really need to take this.
Let's recap briefly here. Jen arrived in her office only to be summoned to another office where upon arrival she immediately needs to depart to go back to another office. So the sin, as always, is the office.
I extracted him from the prison against his own wishes because I required a worthy opponent as part of my training to become Sorcerer Supreme.
And in a world full of superhuman and very worthy opponents for Wong to fight, he had to pick one that was in prison? Why didn't he ask Thor or Spider-Man or the cousin of the woman sitting right in front of him? And do the Sorcerer Supreme regulations condone breaking potential worldwide threats out of prison to fight in their version of the Kumite? Because that is all kinds of f***ed up.
So, Mr. Bukowski, how much money in cash and gifts did you spend on the Megan Thee Stallion imposter?
I love the Megan Thee Stallion She-Hulk twerking meme as much as anyone, but I feel like there was an easier way to get to that moment than this uninteresting B-plot where we have to spend way too much time with f***ing Dennis, the cliched woman-hungry asshat attorney. Also, I have now trademarked the title, Dennis the cliched woman-hungry asshat attorney, so if you'd like to use that in any way, Disney, I'm listening.
I don't. You guys know me.
Pug sets the story straight with his coworkers, assuring them that when the elf said this,
I love harassing women in the workplace.
everyone knew it wasn't him. But how did he hear the shapeshifter spew her bullshit in the first place? The real Pug was in his office with the door closed.
Is it true you were rejected by the Avengers?
Jennifer Walters, also known as She-Hulk, rumored to have been rejected by the Avengers.
Broadcast journalism. This horrific table that basically demands we all look at the leg spread crotch shot of whoever sits in the hot center seat.
But I think we all know how this is going to go. So let's keep this brief.
I'm not under any illusion that parole hearings in the American justice system are 100% impartial, but don't you have to at least keep up the appearance that Emil is going to get a fair hearing? Wouldn't you open yourself up to a lawsuit of some kind otherwise?
I don't think we need to get into that any further. Any other questions?
Having been involved in several court cases and parole hearings, in which I will not specify my role, I can confidently say I've never once seen law officials raise their hands to speak as though they are kindergartners.
Instead of toilet wine, prisoners make toilet kombucha.
Asking me to be impressed with this change when we all know that kombucha is normally made in toilets.
I find it hard to believe that Mr. Bukowski could be fooled so easily.
My reaction to watching every episode of Catfish somehow makes its way into this episode.
In light of some new information I've just received, I'm changing my ruling.
Ha! This shape-shifting character has allowed for some fun moments with the cast, and I'm smiling despite myself. But I'm not laughing, so that's a sin. The Abomination takes off both Crocs, then the camera gets closer, and he does it again. This must mean he has a super ability to recreate Crocs from thin air, and that is truly an abomination.
You realize that you've just admitted to facilitating a prisoner escape, which is a crime.
I must depart.
This works.
This can go away, you know, with one little interview.
Believing that one interview on any news station will clear up anything ever.
Connecting the A and B story? Nice.
Only when the B story is less interesting than the A story, but in this case, I'm far more interested in the cheeky elf.
We also sentenced the defendant to 60 days for impersonating a judge.
Show about lawyers demonstrates that it cannot differentiate between civil and criminal court. We find the writers guilty of a lack of research and sends them to 50 more sins.
That's right. There's only one Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, but you're not her. You're clearly an apparating apostle from Asgard because you were not in that seat 55 seconds ago. I mean, why shorten courtroom when you can shift the word to the empty space at the bottom of the sign? Lazy sign making is lazy.
We hereby grant Mr. Blonsky's release on parole effective immediately.
Gathering the press, the 8 soulmates and all the prison staff together to announce something that could have been an email. I'm just looking at Jen's face as She-Hulk, and I'm wondering if her makeup just magically shifts to a green hue on its own, or does she have a green-themed eye palette at the ready, just to keep that natural look in Hulk form?
So now whether I like it or not, I am forever She-Hulk.
Great. We have to take a break.
After one question? You want to know one of the main reasons why less people watch linear television these days? This is why. These idiots managed to land a hit or two using the Asgardian tech, but none of the blows even faze She-Hulk. In previous Marvel films, we've seen alien tech was enough to at least knock Hulk down. Hell, Tony knocked out a tooth without alien tech. Shouldn't She-Hulk at least get knocked back an inch or two? Show a small sign of impact? Nobody expects these guys to defeat her, but if you're gonna go through all the trouble of showing off Asgardian tech, shouldn't it do something? Random Asgardian weapons thieves survive this, which is good because I don't want She-Hulk to be a murderer. At least I don't think I do. I mean, maybe I... No. Definitely don't want She-Hulk to be a murderer.
Hi, there's my new favorite client.
Fun cameo, but why would Megan Thee Stallion be one of Jennifer's clients in the Superhuman Law Division? I realize some of the hardcore MCU fans complain about this show being a little lighter, maybe a little sillier, but what in the hell is wrong with that? We've got She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion twerking. Loosen up a little, have some fun. You and the MCU will live longer. Not everything has to be about dead parents. In fact, I wish a little less was.
Stop looking at me, Swan!
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Sorry, you thought you were dating Megan Thee Stallion? A multiple Grammy Award winner megastar Megan Thee Stallion?
That's what she said!
Mr. Blonsky is currently in a long-term committed relationship with several pen pals, all of whom have pledged to financially support him.
Excuse me? If I could... May I clarify?
No.
I love being the center of attention because it's really where I should be. And I love the looks my ladies give me, you know, a little glint. I love that.
Force is not necessary.
So chill, baby cake.
You, however, had time to hide the gun, didn't you, Chutney? After you shot your father.
I didn't mean to shoot him. I thought it was you walking through the door.